Let's speak a little bit more about the strike. We're joined by SARS, or rather on the SARS employee strike, we're joined by Nehawu National Spokesperson Lwazi Nkolonzi. A very good evening to you, Mr. Nkolonzi. So you have decided to go back on strike after suspending it for 2 months. Is a situation that's serious in terms of your deadlock with the employer?
Good evening to you and your viewers at home. We have recommenced with our strike action as of today. Of course, after having reached a deadlock with SARS on the wage dispute. We were mandated by our members on the 8th of July through a national meeting that was convened that we should embark on this strike and recommence with the strike after the employer could not provide anything substantial, rather giving them an insult of an offer of 1.3%. So our members then, through the various membership meetings and shop steward councils, rejected that revised offer by SARS and gave us a clear mandate that we must forge ahead with the strike. So today was the first day of the strike. We have just gone through the first day, and it will continue indefinitely up until SARS comes to the table.
So you have rejected this offer of 1.3%, of which SARS says will be as a result of its floating its savings from 2021. Just in relative terms, how much money is that, and how do you arrive at the figure of 7%, the demand that you're making, and how much does that amount to in rand terms?
In terms of the demands that we have placed before SARS, we just want to make something quite clear. We believe that that demand of 12% is a justifiable demand based on the following factors. One, SARS had reneged on implementing the last round of the signed wage agreement. SARS was supposed to give our members a 6% increment, and our members did not get any increment rather than a small portion. So on that basis, SARS still owes our members money from the last signed wage agreement.
How much is owed to your workers? How much is owed to your workers?
Look, it will vary, of course, from the different grades that our workers are at, but it's 6% that was meant to be implemented, and SARS did not do that. Two, we are now faced with the situation whereby everything has gone up. The cost of living in South Africa has gone up. The inflation rate stands close to 6%. And for SARS to be offering us something that is below the inflation rate, it's really not acceptable. So it's based on those factors that we make this demand of 12%. But also in terms of the monetary value, that would be able to cushion our members against this hard economic situation that is facing not only our members, but the broader public and South Africans as a whole. So we believe that it's quite reasonable and justified that we are demanding that increment that we have placed before SARS. And it's up to SARS to come back to us and give us something that we would consider to be quite reasonable. But at the moment, 1.3 is not reasonable at all.
What would you consider as reasonable? So SARS is saying that it cannot afford anything beyond 70 million rand because its hands are tied due to what it says is a process dictated to by National Treasury. Firstly, do you accept that argument? And secondly, what then would satisfy you as them negotiating in good faith?
SARS, from the beginning and the inception of these wage negotiations, has made a point that they would not be able to afford based on austerity measures. And we found that quite contradictory in terms of how they've been operating. For example, they offered us a 0% increment, maintaining that there's no money in the first stage. And then we went on the strike in May. They then came back to us and they said, we've got this revised off of 1.3%. That on its own demonstrates to us that there is money, and SARS has been not negotiating in good faith with us. But also, most importantly, SARS had made a revenue collection of over 1 trillion rand in the previous financial year. And our members feel that they contributed to that and should be rewarded. And SARS is not willing to do that. Thirdly, if you recall, in the budget vote speech of the Minister of Finance, the minister quite clearly indicated that they've allocated over 3 billion rands to SARS for its operations and its running, which includes, amongst others, salary adjustments and payments to workers in SARS. So for SARS to come to the table and say there's no money clearly is misleading, and they're negotiating in bad faith.
All right, let's talk about the impact of the strike. We understand that 18 branches had to be closed down. The PSA saying that, SARS branches at border gates have been fully shut down. Can you confirm this?
Yes, we can confirm it, that indeed SARS came to a standstill today. Our members did not render any services, none whatsoever. And all operation came to a standstill across the SARS offices and also at the border gates. Our members came out and they were demonstrating, and they were not rendering any services. And we are quite confident that as we proceed with the strike, more members will join the picket lines and will demonstrate to the employer that this time around we are serious about the plight of our workers, and we're not willing to budge up until SARS brings something concrete to the table and starts taking our workers and our members very serious.